my record button on. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, just to everyone on the call the call this evening, welcome on the call. It's going to be an incredible call this evening. We're very, very privileged to have Dr. Steve Hines on the call. I've been able to spend some amazing time with him over this weekend at the Canadian Super Regionals in Vancouver. And he's just a testament to this industry. He's a testament to what these products can do for people. And just before I start, I just want to sort of just sort of read a bit of his biography to you guys. So Dr. Steve Hines completed his undergraduate and graduate degrees in biochemistry and immunology from the University of Washington in Seattle. Dr. Hines also later qualified as a medical doctor from the University of Washington. He's also operated 3 clinics and a large surgical center. He was also the editor and publisher of 2 healthcare magazines. Dr. Steve Hines started with Mannatech in 1994 and is a Silver Presidential Director. He's also a member of the North American Advisory Council. Dr. Steve Hines is married to Barbie, and they've got 2 daughters and obviously live in Seattle. And yeah, and more importantly than that, he's just an incredible friend. He's an incredible leader. In fact, he's got probably one of the biggest organizations in Mannatech globally. And he's got obviously he's the godfather of the entire Happy team, which is also part of his group, which is going to be expanding into China. So yeah, so with no further ado, Dr. Steve Hines, I hope that you can hear me. So I'm just going to try and see if we can get you online. So yeah, Steve, are you available?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Steve, we can.
Yes, thank you. I didn't realize I had to push a button.
Perfect. You can go right into it.
Well, you know, I just want to thank you for inviting me on this call. This weekend was truly an amazing. It was a massive success in regard to the Super Regional, and without you, it would have been routine. You know, you always want to have someone of your stature come in and share what you're doing right now at the moment, the energy you create, the excitement you create, because you can smell success coming from you. You know, you got that, you're in the fire right now. You're in the moment right now. You're recruiting, you're moving, you've gone from gold, you're heading to platinum. And I'll tell you what a thrill it was, you know, to see you there, you know, to see you as a father and as a teacher. We were just so blessed to have you there today. And, you know, I just want to let everyone know that just like you, I made a commitment, I made a decision, and I've had several defining moments along the way. The great thing about my journey is that my enroller was a gentleman named Victor Scholl. He was a perfect stranger. He walked into my clinic one day and he started talking about this technology. He didn't know at the time that I was in the looking zone, and I'd actually studied glycobiology in 1988. So I was very receptive to the message. Now then, we only had the Mannatech and the Plus. So when I got in, there was one country, the United States, and my control number is 1540. So there were less than 1,600 people in Mannatech. And we had none of the great tools like we're using today. So the greatest time to get in Mannatech is right now. And I'm going to share a little bit about that. But the thing I love the most is that today we're so much more connected. I think I had an 8th generation copy of Ray Robbins' blood report. You know, I gotta thank Ray. He's my active upline, and you know, thank God for the road warrior. He went out all those years ago and started planting those seeds, which are now an orchard. You know, if you're gonna have an orchard in the future, you gotta start planting those seeds today. And 22 years later, you know, I'm very blessed with an organization that you know, I didn't build. I recruited 35 people myself, and I was very lucky that a lot of my friends and associates join me, and they have become even platinum presidentials. So this is the magic of education, the magic of the mastermind group, people like yourself, who people can stand on your shoulder and see a little further. To me, the secret to business, I'm an entrepreneur, a doctor, and a businessman. And the secret to success for me was very simple. I grew up in a little logging community. Everybody was poor. And, I had my great uncle was the only person in town that was a role model. He was a dentist, and I noticed that every year he had nice clothes and he had a nice home and he drove a nice car. So I said, wow, becoming a doctor's got to be a good thing. And that's why I, when you think about how the decisions you make along the way that will impact your future. Here I made a decision to become a doctor based on the fact that he got a new car every year. And so, it doesn't make sense. And so sometimes when people want to make sense out of this industry, I get a big kick, because most of us are programmed by our youth, even as a baby, to behave a certain way. Our education system teaches us to get a good job, to have an education, but it doesn't teach us how to be truly wealthy and to make a difference in this world on a grand scale like you're doing. We're gonna change the world for millions of children, and people are praying right now as I speak to be part of this wellness revolution. They're literally looking for solutions in a very complex medical world. And I'm just thrilled to be part of this. People sometimes say, "Wow, Steve, you sold your practices and you committed to this journey full time." And I said, well, in my faith, hold on here. In my faith, it says, you're responsible. If you find out something wonderful, if God has created something wonderful in your life, you have a responsibility to share that. And, I love my colleagues. I love being a doctor. I love seeing patients. I love creating solutions. But I had a greater responsibility, and that is I fell in love with medicine because I fell in love with the body. I fell in love with every cell and every molecule in that body and how it worked and the grand design that's imprinted within that genetic code. And for us to support health on a cellular level was something so thrilling at the time that I literally could not sleep. And I hope if you're new, you're listening to this, that you understand that I only did 3 things. I educated myself about this industry. I fell in love with the industry of network marketing. I think industry ever created. And why? Because it allows a new entrepreneur to blossom. You're not responsible for the employees and the infrastructure and science and the distribution and the cash flow. You're responsible for simply 3 things. You want to have a mission in life that gets you up every day, makes you want to go out there and change the world, be something purposeful, do something you're passionate about, and then you want to become a leader yourself. JP, you're part of my organization, but we're dear friends, and we're going to be friends for life, and we're going to travel the world for life. But you decided to build this business, and you're the leader that you've become. You've grown into this stature, and you're teaching me things. I know at the event we just had, you're teaching. I was taking notes like crazy. I don't know if you noticed, but I had a lot of notes. So again, I had to become a leader. And then the next thing I had to do is I had to attract other leaders so we could create a team. So my business model is very simple. I have a mission. I need to become a leader myself. I need to attract other people to the team so they can become leaders and be part of this movement. The inside of the triangle, the products, the technology, the legal systems, the regulatory environment, the science, the cash flow, the systems, the IT, that's all done by our partner. So we're not even really business people. We're really simply educators, coaches, mentors, and people who are doggone excited. I got up today and I thought, this is going to be a great day because I'm going to have an opportunity to give back to JP what he so sacrificed to be in Vancouver, away from his family. He's not going to be there on Father's Day. And you know what, JP, just thank you very much. So, this kid from a little town, I I wore hand-me-down clothes until I was 18 years old. So I had no examples in my life, in my personal life, of success outside of being an employee or being self-employed. The idea of building a business or building a network or being part of a larger entity was foreign to me. And I realized, and maybe you guys realize, that our education system isn't designed to teach you to be wealthy. And I don't mean wealth from a money point of view. I mean wealth from an abundant point of view, a nurturing point of view, a point of view that gives back to the world what you've been blessed with. If you have the ability to unite people, to change their lives, to answer their prayers, to give them comfort, financial security, to make a difference in their lives and help them grow and have better marriages and have better association, go to events that inspire them. Wow, we're not taught that in school. So even though I'm highly educated, not one day did I spend on the secrets to wealth. And that's why I needed advisors and I needed books, because books are advisors. The greatest association you can have in this world is your books and your tapes. And then you go to the events. I know the first time I met Leonie and Louis, they're my heroes. They are my heroes, and I strive to be as good as they are in this industry. They've really championed a great, great business. So, this weekend was a great example of why I'm successful, because I got the education, I got fed, I was surrounded by people who could teach me and guide me and mentor me. And then the third thing you need is you need time. Now, people look at my organization today, 22 years later, and guess what? Those seeds we planted, they're blossoming into orchards. I always tell people there's only about 20 seeds in an apple, and that's the people you're going to go out and find. They're looking, they need growth, they need fertilizer, they need sun, they need nurturing by you. Those 20 seeds, though, are amazing, because what happens is, the question I want to ask you is, how many apples are in a seed? Well, one seed can create orchards across a nation. And that's what JP has done. He simply put in the effort to grow and to communicate, to love on people, share his passion, share his excitement. And when I see what he's done the last 2 years, it blows me away. So I hope that that kind of gives you a feel of my core philosophy. As far as the products go, I'm a walking, talking example of a guinea pig, because I've been using this products for 22 years. I got a fun report to show you here. And, because a lot of times in our industry, we make the mistake of treating this technology like it's medicine. This is far beyond medicine. This is far beyond medicine. This is what God has designed us to be able to restore health, not through pharmaceutical means. No one has a deficiency in Ritalin. No one has a deficiency in antidepressants. Nobody has a deficiency in antibiotics. What we have deficiency in, because of our lifestyles, because of our stress, because of our food, is we have a deficiency in the basic building blocks of the cell and how they communicate. So I'm 66 years old. Of course, I act like I try to keep up with JP and his crew when we're in Hawaii. Although I think they're a little bit more excited than I am about this. But here is let me see if you can see this or not. This is a report that I had on what was called Internal Age and Wellness Report. And so I'm 66 years old, but let me see if you can see this. It is, I'm not sure if you can see that. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, there we go. I am 34 years old internally. Now, think about that. Because I chose to make a very inexpensive investment in my future, of my health, yes, I gained freedom. I gained financial freedom. I changed the lives of thousands of children. I am so proud that my friends joined me so we can travel the world together. We have a nice home, we have nice things, but that's not what got me excited about this. To know that I could help my children live a long, healthy life, my wife, my parents, my friends, that's what's gratifying for me. We do a lot of things in this industry, but the reason why Mannatech stands head and shoulders above all of our friends in the industry is because we have a product that works in a fundamental way, a way that we created. We have the 118 patents to support our discoveries. And wow, I mean, if you want to define the perfect business, to be at the right time, at the right place, with the right products, at the right moment in history, and then be able to say, hey, let's go to South Africa, let's go to China, let's go to the rest of the world. I know that I have business now in Colombia and Mexico and Asia and Europe. And it's not because of me. It's because each individual seed that was planted blossomed into an orchard. So those 20 seeds I started with are now rocking across the world. Like you, JP, the sun never sets on your business. So is there anything else that I can share today that, that you'd like me to touch on?
Steve, are you still there?
I'm still here, yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just had to step out quickly because they wanted to come in and clean my room. So I was just telling them I'm on a conference call. So
well, that's right. You have to leave, yes.
No, I'm still fine. I've still got about another half an hour.
So I have about how much more time? About another
about 15, 20 minutes? Yeah.
How much?
About 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, what an honor. What I would like to share is just to review my core philosophy about one of the questions I'm asked a lot, because they know I'm a doctor, so they automatically assume that it was the science and the products that I'm like a mini Dr. Nugent. That's all I'm about. But we're all born with the capacity to do more than become specialized. I'm a generalist. I love helping people become entrepreneurs. And so if you were to ask me what I do for a living, I don't sell Mannatech products. Mannatech sells Mannatech products. They provide the products, and I provide the education to help people understand the value and make that investment. But I want the products to be free. I want the products to be something you use the rest of your life without even considering the cost. As a matter of fact, I want the cost to you to be zero. So you can give products and help other people and do the things you really want to do with the products. So I'm an entrepreneur. Now, what does that mean? It means that I have a philosophy of life that is not about being self-employed or an employee, because those two ways of doing life have limitations. I was told at a very young age that the difference between regular income and exceptional income is leverage. And what does that mean? Well, leverage means you are able to educate and motivate and inspire other folks to lift themselves up, to be guided and nurtured in such a way that they can create their own entrepreneurial success and have the pride of that ownership and have the pride of making a difference in this world and answer people's prayers. So an entrepreneur does something, and I hope you understand this, an entrepreneur sees the invisible. And so I mentioned at the function here the other day that I said, how many sides are there to a coin? And most people said 2, and others said 3. Well, the answer is 3. There's the one side, the other side, and the edge. Entrepreneurs stand on the edge. A lot of times in life, the reason why you run into resistance, the reason why you run into people who don't understand you, here you are excited, you've got a discovery of a lifetime, you've seen the results yourself with your own eyes, you've been and seen the children's orphanages, you couldn't be more passionate, and they're very blasé about it and tell you that it's one of those things, and they're not interested. Well, what's happened is you probably haven't related with them you probably haven't had a chance to build that trust and credibility with them. You probably haven't listened to them and found out what their needs are. And so when you get feedback like, I got to check it out, maybe I'll try it and see how I like it, or, let me think about it. That's because in this industry, this is a people development business. And the reason why we have the 3-point plan, the reason why we have the reading, the association, and the listening is so that you can have an advisory council, a mastermind group, literally at your fingertips. That allows you to develop the character and the qualities and the integrity to be able to communicate with people about their needs, not your needs. And so when I look at a coin, some people say, it's like in America, we have, good and bad, right and wrong, black and white. Now in the political season, we have Republican and Democrat. And I always tell people, if you stand on the edge, you can see both sides. So, one of the things our education system does to us that's wrong is it doesn't allow us to make a mistake. We are rewarded and we're encouraged to be right all the time. You got to get A's on your tests. You got to be a good boy. You got to go out there and work hard and get a job and perform and compete with all the other people in this world. Don't you love that? When you're growing up, you say, let's do something so I can compete with every other person on the planet. And now the planet's getting to be a really big place. And I'm like, no, let's cooperate. Let's create community. Let's be entrepreneurs and invite people and lift them into a community so we can all win. We can all be wealthy. We can all change the world. Why leave that to the wealthy people who designed the education system? The original education system in America was, hey, we want to take folks out of the farm and put them in the factories. We don't want to teach them how to build a factory. We don't want to teach them how to own an asset. We want to teach them to work for us at, let's just call it what it is, slave labor. And that's it. So we've grown up and been conditioned to think of ourselves as in conflict, in competition with everyone. That's why we get egos. That's why we have to be right. That's why we have to have certain skills. And we're very jealous of people who seem to float through life, become wealthy. Well, why are they? Because what they're probably doing is they're setting up relationships, they're setting up trust situations that allow people to then gain information. No right, no wrong. Let's just find out on the edge of the coin what the information is. Now, once I develop trust and rapport with people, and they have credit, and I have credibility, maybe that's through a function. That's why I love these functions like JP. People meet JP, they go, wow, I can do this. I love his story. So then what I do is I simply want to share information. I don't mean information about our Mannatech products. I mean information about life. Where are people going? What do they want to do? How are they doing it? Is there anything they need? Then we can start talking about problems. Once we have a philosophy of collaboration, coordination, co-oping, then we can say, well, look, what problems could we solve together? Well, let's take a look at food. Let's take a look at medicine. Let's take a look at the trends in athletics and weight loss and skincare. Let's take a look at these mega trillion-dollar trends and say, wow, what happens if we united with a business partner that has solutions? So now we can talk about the problems. We can then agree on solutions. The solutions are, hey, let's use this technology. Let's become entrepreneurs. Let's get our products for free, and let's enlighten the world. Let's change the world, because we all know jobs are going to go away. Whoever's president of the United States has to face the fact that between the debt we have and the technology we're developing, millions and millions of jobs are never coming back. So if you're invested in the old model, you're going to feel abused because you're not going to see the kind of growth you want. Whereas in our model, just shifting your mindset to the other side of the coin, you have unlimited potential. Now, once you've developed a relationship, you've developed the trust, you've shared information, you've developed a problem that you've created a solution for, everybody says yes. There is no, I'll think about it. If you go through those stages in life, you're automatically going to say yes. That's how people sell you an automobile. You walk on the lot and you walk off with an automobile. How did that work? The salesman knew how to move you through rapport building, trust. What is the situation you're in? What are the problems you have? How can I solve those problems? We'll finance it. We'll figure out a way. You can walk off the lot today with a brand new automobile. And that's what we do. So the people that built the automobiles are wealthy. The people that drive the automobiles, if they're doing it as employees or self-employed, they just created residual debt. They just signed a paper that says, I have to pay money in the future that I don't have today. So I always thought it was ironic that our education system makes it okay as a consumer to create debt, but not okay as a consumer to unite other consumers and create wealth. Because all I'm doing is creating a consumer revolution. So, JP, I tell you, I get excited. I wake up every day, and I'm like you. You did a phenomenal job. You said, you know what, my business is growing every day. I'm growing every day, and we're on a mission. So grab that mission, develop your leadership, and guess what? In a lot less than 22 years, you're going to replace my business. I see members of my team already, like the great folks this weekend, Julia and Hanson and Cece and Sue, and so many of these wonderful people who I started with them. They didn't speak English. They were immigrants to Canada. They couldn't use their skills that they developed in China, so they had to take menial jobs. But you know what? That's why I like immigrants, because they get up every day looking for opportunity and a way to get back to where they used to be. If you ever talk to people who had something and lost it, those are the kind of folks that will get up every day and go to work and help you change the world. So thank you very much, JP. I just enjoyed every precious moment of this conversation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Steve. Let me just put my earphones in quickly. Just give me 2 seconds. Thank you very much for that. We really, really appreciate it. I think, I was also just to share with everyone, really inspired this weekend, because obviously as I'm not sure many of the speakers, many of the listeners on the call this evening will know, but I mean, just to see what's happening in Vancouver with, especially in the Chinese community, how there is now two brand new platinums. And I mean, these are people that came all the way from China with being highly qualified and just not having an opportunity. And obviously, through this vehicle, they've been able to get back on their feet. They've been able to go out there and go and really change a large amount of people's lives. So, I mean, obviously, thank you very much for sharing with us. I mean, you've obviously had a big part to play in that. And we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on the call this evening. And to everyone on the call, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedules as well to be on the call. I know we've got a conference call starting in half an hour. So all the best for the rest of the week. And I hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you, JP.